Hey, it's Mrs. Francis here, and in this video we're going to be looking at properties of exponents. Well, here they are, and I know it's pretty scary. They can be pretty intimidating. What we're going to do is we're going to look at each one individually with some simple examples, and then we're going to look at two more difficult problems. So let's do it. The first one we have exponential form, and we're converting it to radical form. You can also have a radical and then convert that to exponential form. If you have a negative in the numerator, you would move it to the denominator. If you have a negative in the denominator, you would move it to the numerator. If you're multiplying and you have the same bases, you're going to add the exponents. If you have power to a power, it's multiplication. If you have an exponent on the outside of the parentheses, you're going to apply that exponent to everything inside the parentheses. If you're dividing and you have the same bases, you're going to use subtraction. And if you have a fraction and you have an exponent on the outside, you're going to apply the exponent to both the numerator and the denominator. All right, so those are all the properties. Now we're going to take a look at a more difficult problem. So here we go. And the first thing that you really have to remember here is order of operations. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at what's inside the parentheses, and we're going to simplify that before we do anything with the exponent on the outside. And because we're dividing, we're going to subtract. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and then we subtract negative 1 from 4, and we subtract 3 from negative 2. All right, now that we have that simplified, we're going to apply the negative 2 to each part of the term inside. So we get 5 to the negative 2, because negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, and then we get y to the 10. Now, this is the part where you need to move anything that has a negative exponent. If it's in the numerator, we're going to move it to the denominator. And right now, everything is in the numerator. And of course, we know that 5 squared is 25, so we're going to rewrite that. All right, so that's our final answer. Let's try another one. And I think we're going to bring in Aunt Sally just for a little reinforcement. Don't forget your properties, your order of operations. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here, there's really not much we can do other than rewrite our radicals into exponential form. That helps a little bit. And then we're going to apply that exponent to each part of the term inside. So we get x to the 1/4, because we just have a 1 here, remember. 1 times 1/4 is a fourth. 8 times a fourth is 2. We have a third times 3, that gives you x to the first, and a third times 12, that gives you y to the fourth. All right, it's starting to look a little better. Now, we have division here, so we're going to subtract exponents. So we have x to the 1/4 minus 1 and y squared minus 4. And finally, we have gone as far as we can, other than make sure you never leave a negative exponent in your answer. If it's in the numerator, we move it to the denominator. Now, you certainly can leave it like this. This is having it in exponential form. If you want to put it in radical form, and that makes you happy, either answer is acceptable. All right, I hope this helped. You may need to watch it a few times. Good luck, everybody.